Bum, 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 ba, bum, bum, ba, bum, bum, bum. Oh, hello again. It's Professor Victor Singing Eagle, your favorite friendly neighborhood nutty English professor. Today, excuse me, I'm going to explain a little bit about rhetoric, which appears in our textbook. What is this, the Prentice Hall Guide or the Harbrace? New Harbrace Guide, Genres for Composing. On page 3, we're going to talk a little teeny tiny bit about rhetoric because there's a whole lot of misconceptions on exactly what does that even mean. Let's explain, shall we? All right. In our textbook on page 3, the wonderful authors describe, or I should say author, Cheryl Glenn, defines rhetoric as the following. Rhetoric is the purposeful use of language and images. That definition covers a great deal of territory, practically every word and visual element you encounter every day. But it's the word purposeful that will guide you through the maze of words and images that saturate your life. Now, that's good enough. We can stop right there because that's all we need. Because teachers who read to their students are kind of irritating anyway, aren't they? Yes, they are. I'm going to give you a little bit more detailed definition of rhetoric right now. And the reason I'm doing this is because if it ever shows up on a quiz, which more than likely it will, more than likely it will, you need my definition, which comes from Aristotle. Now, keep in mind that we always in college learn about 21 Dead White Men and Emily Dickinson. I know it's really irritating and annoying, but we're stuck with him. The main thing about Aristotle that we need to know for our class is that he pretty much is the first person to state the obvious. He's an old Greek Aristotle. Let's put him up on the board. Aristotle, whose dates are something, let's just say 379 BC is good enough for us. BC. Not that you need to know that on a quiz, but we just want to know how old he is or how long ago this was. Ancient Greek philosopher. Ancient Greeks in the ancient days, they didn't have TV, Twitter, Netflix, Facebook, all that fun stuff we have today. So they were mightily bored all the time. A couple of things that you can do. Well, you can go down to the bathhouses and hang out and wear your little golden garland thing and sit around and soak in the hot tub or whatever. Or you can go to movie theaters. Well, they didn't have movies, so they had to do live acts. Or you can go to the public square and watch the public debates. This is something Aristotle loved to do. Because again, remember, no TV, no Twitter, no Facebook. The Greeks were bored. What do you do when you want to have fun? Well, Aristotle's ideal of fun was watching the public debates, when the people would stand in the squares and say, "Friends, fellow Grecians, whatever, and countrymen, lend me your ears." And they would speak, and Aristotle was watching this, and he said, "This is kind of cool. I'm going to turn this into a science. I'm going to start writing all this stuff down in my notebook." And he decided he was going to call the science of public speaking, he wanted to call it rhetoric. And I've got to explain what this actually means, rhetoric. Because remember, he's watching public debates. Rhetoric. He defined it as finding and utilizing the available means of persuasion for a given situation. Wow. I've been doing this so long, I don't even need a book to remember that definition. The key word for us in our class, English Composition 1 at Sisseton Wahpeton College, is getting a marker that works. Persuasion. The key word being persuasion. Now think about this for a minute. Maybe you guys are too young for this because, nobody really drives much anymore. Well, maybe you do. But think about this. In the old days, back in the old days, when boys and girls in high school, they get their driver's licenses, and they would go off to some back roads to boy and girl to make out, and they'd be steaming up the windows and kissy, and the guy would get all hot and the girl would get all hot, and he'd say, "Come on, let's do it." And the girl would say, "No!" And the guy would say, "Oh, come on, everybody's doing it." Or he'd think of anything he could possibly think of to get from no to okay, let's do it. You can see the little wheels, the little hamster wheels in the little kid's, the boy's brain turning. His brain is moving at light speed, actually. He's looking through his catalog. What kind of things can I say to make her persuade from no to yes? That's the same idea. Aristotle, 379 BC, was looking at this kind of stuff and saying, in public debates, what can we do? And it works. He said you can actually use this for anything. The key word is persuasion. We want to persuade somebody to think like you, do something, buy something, whatever it is. So, let's erase this. And of course, there's no eraser in this classroom, which means I got to go look. Oh, here's one right here. Yay, I found one. Hopefully, this isn't for the smart board, but you're not supposed to write on the smart board anyway. Let's get rid of this for a minute. Now, our book, also on page 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, talks about this idea of a rhetorical situation. Again, I got to mess around with Aristotle. He liked to draw these little triangles. I'm going to change it up a little bit because he used to do speaker, listener, and subject. But for us, we're writers. This is English composition. The writer, we'll put up here, W-R-I-T-E-R. Over here, we're going to put, instead of subject, we'll put issue, because an issue is a smaller part of a subject. We got to narrow our topic down. And over here, we're going to put reader. Now, let's say that I am writing a letter, whatever, to my 1-year-old grandson in anticipation of his days when he gets older and he gets his car, his first car, and he decides he wants to do some naughty stuff. Well, I've got to figure out what my purpose is here. I'm going to put this here first, purpose, because I'm already starting to spin my wheels as I stand up here talking to you. Let's talk about this. You're going to see this triangle exercise. I'm going to drive you nuts with it. But it's important that we understand how it works and what the whole point of this is. In this case, the old man writing to his grandson, writer, is Victor Singing Eagle. OSQ, PhD. Oh, let's put on there everything we know about the writer, because the more you write on this triangle, the better your work will be. What do we know about Singing Eagle? He's a Potawatomi Indian. Potawatomi. Belongs to the Runaway Band. What else can we put up here? He's an X generation. He's a grandpa. He has a boy and a girl. The boy is age 38. The girl is age 37, I think she is. Yep. Jessica and Victor. Victor and Jessica. Victor 2. Jessica. From Mount Shasta, California. Way up in the mountains. So that means I'm an urban Indian. What else do we know about Sing Inigo? Well, he lived in Taiwan. Taught in Taiwan, too. Taiwan. Canada. Alabama. Never want to go back there again. Too hot for me. Not that there's anything wrong with Alabama. I mean, the people are cool. Nice people. Nicest people you ever want to meet. But the bugs, forget it. And the heat. What else? Lived in Canada. Oh, Oregon, of course. Got the PhD at University of South Dakota. Anything else you want to put on there, whatever. I'm going to slow, and I'm taking up too much time talking about me. Let's talk about the reader. In this case, the reader is going to be my grandson, but we're going to make him 16 years old. So that means he's going to be, well, 15 years from now. So let's say the grandson, I always call him, let's see if I still remember how to write this now. That's probably wrong. Dian. Shijindian. Shi means, Stevenson. Jundian means Julian Stevenson. And he's going to be age 16 years old. Whatever, he's half Potawatomi or something like that. Half Mexican. Yep, my ex was a Mexican. The mother of my children, Mexican lady. No, he's going to be 1/4 Mexican, actually, because he's my grandson. He's going to be 1/4 Mexican and 1/4 whatever Stevenson is. Is that German or Swedish? We'll just put Suyepi, Chmokman, as we say in my language. Chmokmani, which means white kid. So he's got this going on. He's not half Potawatomi, is he? Let's see. My daughter's half Potawatomi. There we go. Never let it be said that I was a math major. No, English. What do we know about him? Well, he's a smart kid. We don't know much because right now he's only 1 year old. He's just a baby. But we know that he's smart. He's very handsome. I can tell he's going to break a lot of hearts when he gets older. And he's from Siskiyou County. Born and raised in Siskiyou County, California, which is Mount Shasta area, which is full of a bunch of racist rednecks. Oh, we got to put that on there. Lots of racist rednecks. I hate to call a spade, but that's the truth. Now, what is the issue? Let's say that I want to talk to him about his choice in girls and his behavior with them. Well, because I don't want him to make this. I don't want him to make the same mistakes that I did when I was 16. If you know what I mean. All right? The issue is behavior with girls. I'm spelling the Canadian way, bad habit. Young girls, because he's 16. And again, this is going to sound a lot like this. And remember, we're looking at Aristotle. Aristotle's the one who came up with this crap. Even though it's obvious, he's the first person to write it down, so he gets the credit for it. The purpose is to persuade my grandson to Be careful. Don't make the same mistakes your grandpa made and just grab any old girl and do naughty stuff, because you'll end up like a teenage father, like I did. Well, I was 19 when he was born. But anyway, we'll talk about that another time. When we look at this, Aristotle is talking also, he wants us to consider the relationships that are going on here. What is my relationship to my reader? Well, I'm his grandpa. Grandpa. We're both Indians, kind of, sort of. Yeah, we can do that. Or Native Americans, if you want to get all politically correct on me, belonging to the Potawatomi tribe, and I know Spanish, and I also know Anishinaabe, my native language, but we don't need to go there. Want to teach him some Anishinaabe. I'll put it on here. Wants to teach. Child. Grandchild. Anishinaabe. And if I'm lucky, maybe even some Mandarin Chinese. I also want him to know some of the old ways, Native American, Potawatomi. Tradition. So, what else do we have in common? What else? Well, we've got that grandpa-grandson relationship. We also have, we're both from Siskiyou County. That's important. So, the fact that we are both from Siskiyou County established my credibility, otherwise known as my ethos. E-T-H-O-S. We'll put that in there. Why not? My ethos. Sounds like ethics, but that's good enough for now. Ethos. My credibility. How am I going to pass myself off as an authority, as somebody who knows what the heck I'm talking about? That's how I'm going to define it for right now. The reader, being my grandson, 是正点. We'll put over here pathos. Pathos means the appeal, in this case, to emotions. I want to connect with him also on an emotional level. So I might write a letter or even record a YouTube video about, dear grandson, by the time you get this video or watch this video, I might already have walked the Milky Way off into the afterlife. But I hope that you will still watch this anyway, because I remember when you were just an itty-bitty baby and I held you in my arms right after your mom gave birth to you when you were just a little teeny tiny thing. And I remember raising or trying to help raise you as a little boy. You might not remember all that, but I do. And I have a connection with you, and I want to express my love and my concern for your future. So buckle up and let's watch this video together, shall we? So I might put that in there. That would be pathos. I'm connecting with him on an emotional level as well by doing that. Over here, the issue. His behavior with young girls. I want him to be careful. I'm going to put over here logos, which sounds a lot like logic. It's Greek for words. In this case, logos, we will appeal not only as an authority, we're also going to appeal on a emotional level, and we're going to appeal on a logical level. I'm starting to spin my wheels up here because there's nobody here to listen to me talk except for a video. There's a relationship to the reader and the issue. There's a relationship to the writer and the issue. Or if it's in the case of my YouTube video, the speaker. But let's say I'm writing my letter instead, whatever. Or I'm reading a letter that I wrote to him on YouTube, whatever. So let's do the writer and the issue first. The writer, Victor Singing Eagle. Oh, forgot. Very important. Also a First Nations Orthodox priest. Why not? Let's put that on there. That means I can run sweats and do holy masses and all that fun stuff. A little bit of Christianity and Native American culture mixed together. That's the First Nations Orthodox Church. We don't need to talk about that right now because we're trying to focus on the subject. Victor Shingo and the issue. What's my relationship to that issue? Well, I'm going to use green. I've been down that road. 16 years old. My dad gave me, I was 16. My dad was like, I don't know, 40 something. He gave me a 1975 Chevy Vega, which, if you know anything about Chevys, especially Vegas, it was a piece of crap. But what did I do with that car? I put a bunch of, took out the engine, had it rebuilt, put a bunch of illegal parts in it, and cherried that sucker up. And then the first thing I did was cruise down and grab myself a cute little Mexican chick. And she was actually 23 and I was 16, but we won't go there. We're talking about the issue, and the issue is I made some mistakes. Got her pregnant. Bad! Chevy Vega. What else? I wanted to be a Roman Catholic priest, actually, but I screwed up, and I realized, uh-oh, I better marry this girl, otherwise I'm gonna go to hell. So I married her, and then, the baby was born right exactly 9 months. Our son was born 9 months to the day of our wedding. I'm gonna put on here, fooled around a lot. Fool around. I gotta slow down too. In my Vega, make out. Used to go to do making up. I tell myself I should be making out, but I'm making out. From all this making out, is that everybody's making out but me. Never mind, that's an old song, you don't need to know that. All right, 1975 Chevy Vega, fooled around a lot, making out in the car, loved girls, especially a beautiful Mexican girl. I won't tell you her name because she might see this video and I'll be in deep doo-doo then, because she's still around. Anyhow, yeah. Became a teen dad. Age 19 when my son, little Victor, was born. Had to join the military. Might as well put that up there too about myself. Why not? U.S. Coast Guard. 2 years. Why not 4? Because I got injured. So I'm also a disabled veteran. Won't tell you about my disability. Actually, you can probably already figure it out just by watching my videos. Yeah, head injury. All right, focus. So I know a little bit. I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two and done a thing or two, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you do. Now, what is my reader's relationship to the issue? That is, he's young. He might have raging hormones. I don't know yet. He's still 1 year old, but by age 16, you never know. I'm just going to assume that he has lots of hormones, full of raging. Teenage hormones. And if you know anything about kids these days, a lot of kids, I don't know what it is with them. They don't drive as much as they used to. But, man, when I was a kid, I wanted to take that car and drive. All right, we won't talk about that right now. So, by doing this, Aristotle says, I haven't even written the letter, you see. I haven't made the video. I'm just doing some little bit of homework here to explain. This is going to help me figure out what I'm going to write, what I'm going to say when I make my video. Does that make sense? Because this is something that we're going to play with a lot this semester. So keep it in mind, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Stop.